I want to introduce everybody to Mario. If you hear noises in the videos, that's this guy right here making breathing noises because he's a little stuffy. No, Mario. You can lay on my lap, but we're not going to lay on the keyboard. Hi, everyone. This is Jib Jab in the Queer Lab. So this month's videos are going to be a little bit different than previous videos, as I'm not going to be joined by my co-host. So it's just going to be me. Since we are in October, I was thinking of having all of the dating videos themed around Let's Not Meet stories or like spooky stories, things like that, to kind of get into the vibe for Halloween. I know I really enjoy Halloween. Mario enjoys Halloween as well. For this story, this is an update. It's Let's Not Meet post. The title of the post is Grindr Horror Story. I know I've used Grindr before, and you can really get some horror stories out of Grindr because there are some strange and interesting people that go on Grindr. This happened 2 days ago. I live in a small city in Romania, around 30,000 inhabitants. Romania isn't exactly known for their tolerance of gay people. It's not as bad as other places such as Russia, but the situation is definitely not rosy here either. I get on Grindr and meet a guy. 18 years old apparently. The guy didn't have a picture of his face as his profile pic because it's too dangerous. He had a picture of a rose drawing. Most guys on Grindr here don't have pictures of themselves. We talked for a bit and I really liked the guy, and then we finally accept to exchange face pictures. I send him a selfie of myself and he sends me a picture of a guy from our city. He was cute and I really liked him. So I told him, hey, I saw you around the city. Didn't know you were gay too. We talked and finally arranged to meet. I had some errands to run at the tailor shop. My cousin's bachelorette party is coming next week and I had to adjust my favorite shirt, so I asked him to meet me in front of the tailor shop. The building in which our tailor shop is located has 4 stories. The ground floor is clothes shop, which my aunt works. The first floor is storage room. The 3rd floor is a barber salon. And the 4th floor is a tailor shop. I go to the tailor shop and then go to the clothes shop on the ground floor to visit my aunt and see how she's doing. As I was looking out the window of the clothes shop, I noticed there was 5 men, all of them in their late 20s, behind the building. None of them was the guy I got a picture of, and none of them even looked remotely close to what the guy looked like. I text the guy I was supposed to meet and ask him if he made it to the tailor shop. As soon as I send the message, one of the 5 guys' phones lit up and he started texting. As soon as he stopped texting, I got a notification from Grindr. I'm behind the tailor shop. I went there to smoke so no one would see me. Come smoke with me. I was terrified as I realized I wasn't going to meet the guy in the picture. He tries to get me to go behind the tailor shop, and I tried to get him to the side of it. There were no windows to the side of the building, so after a few tries, he agreed to meet on the side of the tailor shop. All 5 guys went to the side of the tailor shop. I peeked my head from the door, looked left and right. As soon as I saw my way was clear, I ran for it. Grindr cutie, let's not meet. That's a really big thing in the LGBTQ community that you really have to be very wary about, is who you're meeting up. And that's why I say always make sure you go to a public place, because you never know what kind of person you're meeting up, what their intentions are. You know, people could have really nefarious intentions. I'm glad this person saw the red flags, noticed that something was amiss and was able to get out of there safely. There is an edit. I bumped into the cute guy the next day and started talking to him. I opened my phone and pretended to use it, and I went on Grindr. I saw him look at my screen and ask me, I say yes, because I actually knew he was gay too. And he says, me too. I told him about the incident and he got kind of scared, as the guys used his picture. On a more positive note, he agreed to go out with me once school starts again. So he did make an update to his Grindr horror story. He talks about running into the guy whose actual picture was used, and the guy happened to be gay as well. A day after the incident happened, I bumped into the cute guy. I knew he was gay because a common friend, James, told me that. That was a very dangerous thing The fact that he told me about it, because he couldn't have known what my relationship with the cutie was. For all James knew, the cutie could have been my worst enemy, and I could have used it to blackmail him. That's why it's dangerous to reveal someone's sexuality, even to a fellow gay person. That's very scary. I feel like a lot of people in the LGBT community feel that way, where you have to be very careful who you're giving that kind of personal information to. I know with people who are in the trans community, it's a little different. You have to be more open and upfront about who you are as a person versus just being part of the gay community. We talked and he gave me a huge hint. He said, you see, if you had actually talked to me that night, you would have gotten yourself an actual date. Now, I was shy, so I didn't give him a direct answer, and after more and more hints, I finally got confidence and said, well, looks like yesterday night wasn't a lucky one. Maybe Sunday night will be different. His answer was, it will be. Then we went home, and he texted me to see if I got home safely. We went on texting for hours, and he would tell me how I am a unique person and how he hasn't met anyone like me before, how he loves my unique personality and mentality. Well, I just came back from the date. It was amazing. He told me I'm adorable and that he loves hanging out with me. We set a next date for 2 days. So it's really good that that situation ended up working out. For OP in the end, I think OP got very lucky noticing the red flags of the 5 guys that were waiting outside for him, waiting to do who knows what. If he wouldn't have noticed it, I think things would have turned out a lot different. And I don't think OP would be making that post. So I'm glad he was able to get out of that situation. So for this story is a short one. Going to stop meeting people on Tinder. I had a weird feeling right from the start. Now I wish I hadn't gone. We decided to meet at a casino and walk around. He stared at me the whole time. I don't really know what I was doing hanging out with him, but I decided to a couple more times, was intimate with him, but I had the feeling like I didn't like it. Anyway, the creepy part is that he looked up all my information online, found out my address, who I live with, who my relatives are, where I went to school, grew up, and continued to terrorize me in any way he could, finding me on LinkedIn, calling me names in the comments of various posts, reading my entire blog from when I was 15 that I can't delete because the email is old. I managed to delete everything, and once I have money, I'm going to use that site to delete me. This is the first time anything like this has ever happened, and I'm definitely freaked out. I also have no friends where I live, so it's made me feel really lonely. I wish no one had to experience this kind of anxiety. I'm never going to be able to have any public social media profiles. I have to hide everything. It's insane that someone from Tinder I met a few times would do this. I'm not going to be meeting people online anymore. I think social media is one of those things nowadays where it's very hit or miss. Like, social media can be a great thing because, you know, you can connect with people, you can get out there, you can talk to different people, but it's also this dark force where people can use social media against you and use it to hurt you and bully you and corner you. And I don't know what happened in their relationship, why this person would suddenly just kind of flip-flop and decide to torment OP, but that's really sad, and that really sucks that they have to go through that. I think maybe give it a couple of months. Hopefully things should die down. Sadly, you can look people up online, pay a small fee, and find out damn near any kind of personal information down to address, phone numbers, relatives, even relationship statuses such as married, single, have kids. It's effing crazy what kind of information these sites have on the public. They all claim it's public information. When you look up someone, they have you click an agreement and you won't use said info for purposes. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. But yeah, no, cover all the bases. I think it's crazy that there are sites like that exist where people can just kind of like type your name into a database, type your birthday, type your phone number, and just find out all this wild information about you and use that information against you for nefarious purposes. You can actually look up your own personal information on those sites, and you can request that those sites take off that information. So if you do find yourself in a situation like that, maybe take the time and look up your information and see if it's a possibility to have that information taken down. This story is from LetsNotMeet, called The Tinder Stalker. I matched with a man on Tinder one day. The conversation got spicy, and I gave him my number so we can continue chatting. We texted that night. We never exchanged photos or nudes or anything like that. Never made plans to meet up. The conversation died, and I forgot about them. Weeks go by, and I deleted the conversation, like anybody would do when a conversation is DOA in the water. Then late one night, I get a lewd photo of a man I don't recognize. I think of insulting them, but decide to just delete it and not respond. A few weeks later, I get another one. I have the idea to check my deleted messages to make sure I don't know them. Sure enough, I find out it's the Tinder guy. It's really weird of them to text me a month later just lewd images after no contact or anything for over a month. Ew. So I blocked them. A couple of weeks later, I get a lewd video on my Apple Watch. It's the same guy. I'm not sure how I got the message on my watch if I already blocked his number. I block him again on my watch. What a weirdo, I think. A week later, I leave my apartment to go on a walk. I see him. He's right there in front of my apartment walking towards me. He has the same outfit as his profile photos and same tattoos and hat, so I am certain it is them. I never mention where I live. I'm freaked out, but dressed in baggy clothes and recently changed up my hair color, so I keep my head down in hopes he doesn't recognize me. I walk right past him. I was too scared to look at him to see his reaction if he recognized me. I was too scared to look back in his direction to see where he went, so I just kept walking forward. I was severely freaked out, but nothing else happened after that, and I never saw them again. I never mentioned where I lived, so my only thought is he must have used my phone number to look me up. It was the least likely person I would have expected. Just some random person I messaged for only one day on Tinder. Even with the lewd content they sent, I still just thought they were a regular perv. I never expected them to somehow show up at my apartment. They didn't even text a word to me or attempt to meet up. They just sent lewds over 2 months and then appeared. It's just so random and weird. I think their motive was definitely something sexually perverted. It gives me creeps to think about what they wanted, but I'm glad they left me alone. I never gave out my real phone number to dates anymore. That's really creepy. Again, people can use those websites to look up your personal information and find out your address, find out your phone number, find out where you work, where you went to school, who you graduated with. They can make deductions and get who you went to school with and find out where you live just by what schools you went to and stuff like that. So really creepy. Somebody posted, "This is actually terrifying. How long ago was this? There are 7 different types of stalkers. I am super wigged out by your story because I recently learned of a woman who was viciously attacked in her apartment by a man she did not know, who it turns out stalked her for several years before he broke in and tried to kill her. Please don't sweep this one under the rug and protect yourself. Have a weapon close by where you sleep, have cameras around your home, be vigilant out and about. This could be nothing or it could be a horrible situation waiting to happen." OP responds, "It was about 1.5 years ago. I recently moved, but right after it happened, one of the first things I did was install a security system. I slept with a knife for a couple of weeks and even cut myself on accident. I had problems sleeping for weeks. It was affecting my mental health. I was way over paranoid. But what I learned is don't ever give your phone number or full name to somebody unless you fully trust them. Stalkers can use that info to find your address. I met someone else who was stalked by a phone number and a man came to his house with a knife." So the article that the poster lists is called 7 different types of stalkers. There is the rejected stalker. Some stalkers have been rejected by the person they wanted a relationship with or just have experienced a breakup. The stalker may be looking for a way to salvage the relationship or want to remain as close to the victim as possible. The predatory stalker. Predators are often sexually obsessed or have deviant sexual fantasies, typically male. The victims are usually women who are strangers, but in who the stalker has sexual interest. The incompetent suitor. These kinds of stalkers are typically incompetent at relationships, lonely, and target strangers or casual acquaintances. Resentful stalker. Someone who becomes a stalker because they feel like they've been mistreated in some ways. These stalkers often have some form of mental illness, experience feelings of paranoia or prosecution, and can be self-righteous and self-pitying. Intimacy seeker. Often mentally ill. Intimacy seeker stalker believes the victim will learn to love them, and they may have delusions or beliefs that the victim already does love them. Political stalker. These stalkers are unique that they're motivated by political beliefs and end up stalking people who either agree or disagree with their views. And hitmen. The most dangerous victims are stalked by a hired killer whose instructions to do bodily injury or take the person's life. I think definitely OP in the story was being stalked. She's very lucky that nothing further happened from that situation because, you know, let's face it, something bad could have happened. He could have been casing the place. He could have been trying to get an idea of her habits and watch her. I think she's very lucky that nothing ended up happening in that situation. That was my posts for the day. I hope I will catch you guys in next week's video. We're going to continue this all month long where we're going to read some creepy stories pertaining around dating and relationships. I hope you guys take care of each other. I hope you guys take care of yourselves. I hope everybody has a safe October, and I hope that I see you guys next time in the next video. All right, thank you.